All right, everybody, welcome to the Couch's Corner podcast, episode 9.
Cloud9.
Cloud 9, got it right the first time this time, didn't have to think about it.
Well, especially since we were off last week too.
This is true.
Yeah, we took a 1 week breather there.
Yeah, we were on the injured reserve.
Upper body, lower body,
Upper body.
general body soreness.
Yeah, the flu.
You know what I like when it comes to like hockey injuries and all that. I loved last year how Erik Karlsson came out for the first round of the playoffs and basically told everybody, "Yeah, my foot's messed up, but it's okay. I'm fine."
But we're good.
You know, we're all good. Like in this day and age, everybody's hiding all their injuries so that nobody exploits it. So I know kudos to that, but yeah, I always get a kick out of these these
crazy
very
injuries.
random, bogus injuries that happen,
Yeah.
and especially, do you see Nicholas Backstrom's hand a few weeks ago? Nicholas Backstrom missed. So you remember he missed the last 2 games of the Pittsburgh series and didn't come back in until I think it was Game 4 against the Lightning because they were already on a roll, and having lost Game 3, they made a change. But they did an interview with Backstrom, I think when they were in Tampa, I want to say. He's got his hand up by his face. Kind of the camera catches you, kind of scratches his face, and I swear to God, his index finger looks like someone's forearm. Like
Pretty messed.
upper body
up
injury, but hey, you know what? There it is.
Yeah, just a finger injury.
Just
but we're good.
just a little bit of a sore finger. That's all.
Yeah, so we're filming or recording a day ahead of normal.
Yes, but that's for good reason. Though.
We if, for those who are not in Canada, we have to vote
In Ontario.
in Ontario. Sorry, we have to vote tomorrow. So we decided to take the night off and let all our bad decisions affect us tonight instead, because tomorrow everybody has a bad decision to make.
I think, yeah. And I mean, I figured we were doing this today because Game 5 was on Thursday night, so that we can get this in rather than and do a podcast, put it up the next day, and oh my God, the Stanley Cup's already been won.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought of more than the government personally. I mean, election. I mean, you're basically picking. Do you want to get punched in the face, punched in the nuts, or what do you want? You know, what's
Fist in the ass.
Yeah, it's like pick what you want happening to you.
So yeah. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about the series that is now 3-1 Washington.
Yes.
And can possibly end tomorrow. And
we'll go over and play a couple of games. Talk about just a few. I mean, there's been quite a few things happening in the hockey world. I mean, look at you look at the New York Islanders. They're making a bit of a shuffle.
Oh, yeah,
and firing and with hopes of re-signing their franchise player. And we've got also a little bit of an update from our fantasy hockey pool.
yeah.
And I said this in the beginning. I was playing the long game. I was trying to make sure I had the right guys in places. And you know what? If I'm saying that now, you know I'm full of shit because I didn't expect either of these teams to make it in yet. The two guys. I mean, I have John Carlson, who I think has made himself a ton of money this playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And even William Karlsson, who's been playing very well, but I think Vegas is just like, what's going on with these guys? Like it's been, I mean, give or take for the first game, which could have been won by either team. This series could be over right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's just they finally met their match. There's that old saying: "There's always somebody bigger out there." I mean, I think they finally just.
They may have met the match. To me, it's not the match. I think that there's other teams. I mean, if I was to ask you between Washington and Winnipeg who the better team was, I think 9 out of 10 people would probably say the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd easily say that. And I know people who are Caps fans that would probably say that as well. But the Vegas Golden Knights got through them in 5 games. Although I think Marc-Andre Fleury was a big reason they got through games 3 and 4. Otherwise, again, the shoe could have been on the other foot. But with Washington, they play. I like the way they play. They're punishing, but it's not just like their bottom 6 guys, like the top end guys, like Ovechkin and TJ Oshie. Like these guys aren't backing down. These guys are putting it to the Knights right now. And Vegas, I said this the other night on Twitter. Vegas looks like an expansion team out there right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that they're not met the match per se. I think that they finally are running out of time. Like they're I think they've exceeded and gratefully exceeded
Oh
expectations
yeah.
and have played fantastic. And there's no way you could take that away from them, whether they win the cup or not. But I think they're at the point now where they just look gassed, and it looks like
Mhm.
Washington is just having their way with them.
It's finally just wearing off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say so for sure.
So yeah, you're 9 points up in the
I'm
final,
9 behind. You're 9 points
or I'm
up.
9 points up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're at you got 479. I'm clocked in at 470 right now, and I'm expecting big game. I'm as even though I'm calling the Caps to win, I want Washington to win. I hope that they don't. I hope this series goes at least 6 games
Hmm.
because I don't think they're gonna make up 9 points in one night
Yeah.
unless John Carlson goes on a spree and he's the only guy in the game who does anything.
Yeah. And that would be that Jonathan Marceau
Well,
and
you
I'm
have
trying to
You have
and
Margie and
Ovechkin
Ovechkin,
don't
and
do anything.
I've got William Karlsson. So, the big guns for the Knights have been quiet, and I know Braden Holtby's played a very good series, and he's been to me. I don't know. I don't think he'll be up for cons. I mean, I don't think he'll be on people's list to be up there for Conn Smythe voting.
Hmm.
But I don't think this series happens the way it does without his play or his heroics.
Yeah.
You know. Like game game two, I know we were just talking about this a few minutes ago. Game two, if that goal goes in, that sends the game to overtime. Vegas wins that game. They're rolling at this point. They get out of Vegas tied 1-1 with the split. Go home and they grind it out and win a a gutsy game three, and then just lay the boots to the Knights in game four. If that save doesn't happen in game two, we're not here right now, and we're not
No.
talking about this right now. It's a much different narrative at this point.
Yeah, they're. I've really enjoyed watching this series so far because I've liked seeing somebody else other than Vegas in a more dominating role.
Yeah, and Washington's done that, and I found this playoffs has been gone very odd. It's like there's stretches where both teams are really grinding out. There's not many good offensive chances, and then the Caps will get 10 A+ scoring chances within a few minutes, and then the game will get back to that sludgy back and forth, grind it out, and
Yeah.
then Vegas will get a few chances, and it's all about capitalizing on your chances is really
Yeah.
what it's come down to, and the Caps have done that. I mean, the Caps power play has come alive in this series. I mean, I know they've had a decent power play all playoffs and they've got the right personnel, but it seems like you put them on the ice now, and there's you can almost feel, you can sense that something's going to happen,
Hmm.
and they read off each other very well. And I think watching them play, they don't have the same kind of team that they had in the years where they were dominant and they looked like they were going to run away with the league.
Hmm.
But they have these. And Buddy, we're talking about it on the weekend. This is Barry Trotz hockey, man. This is Barry Trotz
Yeah.
team, just with a couple superstars sprinkled in here and there, and that's how they're playing hockey right now. It's
Yeah.
fantastic to watch.
Yeah. So the series has been really good. So going into tomorrow night, um, what do you think is the key to each each
Each
team's
team.
game?
Well, I mean, the key for Washington is to try and block everything out. And I mean, it's hard. When you think about that, that everybody there is sharing the same goal, same common dream that everyone had when they were kids,
Hmm.
and they're one win away from recognizing that. And the cup's going to be in the building. So I think the biggest thing for Washington is to just play their game, uh, keep Vegas off the board in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If they keep them off the board in the first period altogether, great. But if they keep them off the board in the first 10 minutes and silence the crowd a little bit, and I think that gives them a good chance to start to play their game,
Yeah.
being on the road. And for Vegas, I think it's a matter of they can't walk into this game thinking that if we lose tonight, we're done. You have to think about this as being your game seven.
Yeah.
You got to play 3 game 7s now,
Yeah.
and you have to leave everything out there. But you don't have to force things though. Once you start forcing things to happen, there's just too much pressure that amounts on you. But I think the coaching staff, they got a good leadership group. I think these guys will be good, settle down, and just go out. And I think both teams just to treat this like another hockey game.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I think Washington. I think the key for them is to, one, not get in their head, but two, don't take dumb penalties. They're gonna have to play hard in order to win the game, but they gotta stay out of the box because I think when you have a team that is as good as Vegas has been, even if they have backstepped just a bit, I think they're going to be the ones to capitalize on most of the power plays tomorrow night if they happen. And that if Vancouver, what?
There's another
Vancouver.
team with a V
Um,
nowadays. Yeah.
if Washington is down a goal, I think they have to avoid getting into that chippy style of play and just keep
Mhm.
playing the game.
Yes, and I think both teams very well coached, as we've touched on numerous times with the playoffs. Um, I mean, just from my standpoint, I think it's just yeah the chippiness. I mean, it's been a trademark of the series, and I know the last game. I mean, I know that there was a few calls that. I mean, there's a few calls that could have been penalties. There's a
Mhm.
few of them that may have been over exaggerated. And not Colin Miller, and I feel bad for a guy like Miller because yeah, he got his nose broken, but it's not because a guy stopped up an elbow in the head. He caught Oshie's helmet.
Yeah.
And then the next shift over, he tries to take a run at Oshie, and TJ sends him flying. Like I think it was just a frustrating night altogether. But that's the thing with Vegas is that they let their frustrations get the better of them, and ultimately that didn't cost them the game, but that could very well cost them if they do fall behind at any point.
Mhm.
If the Caps get out to a lead or a 2 goal lead, and even just to think, I just the goal post by James Neal in the
Mhm.
first few minutes of Game 4, that and when he had the hole in that the game could have been night and day had
Yeah.
that have gone in.
Yeah, those little things they change the game, right? They change the momentum. They get under your skin
Yeah,
in most times, or in most like feelings. I've been on the other end of that where you miss the like essentially game opening point, and then all of a sudden it seems you
you
can't
lose
find
by one after,
you
and then
can't get
where do
your
you trace it back to? Right?
yeah you
It's
can't get any wind under your sail at that point. Um, and then so Washington just like kind of keep playing the game that you're playing. Vegas for me, it's being able to contain Ovechkin and Kuznetsov.
they've been
Whatever you
dominant.
do, you have to sandbag both of them the whole game.
Yes, and I think it's easier said than done because there's been other guys and other lines that have been doing damage. I mean, Devontae Smith-Pelly has had a wonderful series, and even against Tampa too. I mean, he's come alive. A lot of these bottom six guys, Brett Connolly had a goal last game, albeit it was on the power play, filling in for TJ Oshie. But they got guys at the bottom end of their lineup who can make you pay. And
Yeah.
my favorite example of that is Lars Eller because he's a guy that when he played with the Canadians and being a Sens fan, I got to watch him for quite a few years, and it always looked like that there was more to his game, that that he should be this 60, 70 point guy, but you watch him in a playoff series. Or a playoff season, I should say, because he's moved up and down the lineup to fill in roles when Kuznetsov was out, when Backstrom missed several games. He plays power play, he plays penalty kill, he's never going to be more than a 40 to 45 point guy, but he's been one of the best players this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his play in game 2 really put an exclamation point on that. That he's solidified himself as one of the better middle six centers in the league. Whether he's playing, I mean, he has the potential to play second line on a mediocre team or third line on a good team like he is now, and
Mm-hmm.
just got locked up to a pretty good deal, a $3.5 million a year cap hit for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And he signed that before the playoffs. If he and had he not, then I think that's that could have been something that he probably could have gotten another $1 million a year
Mm-hmm.
on the open market this summer.
And to me, that's like your third and fourth line. They're not your guys who win you championships, but they're guys who solidify. You
Yes.
know what I mean? When you've got when you're able to be confident in the last 4 minutes of a game with your third and fourth line going out to shut everything down, that's you're a pretty badass team in that regard.
Well, I think that's the trust of your coaching staff. I mean, you put you put guys on the ice that might only see the ice for 13, 14, 15 minutes a game, but some of those guys like I always touch on with Jay Beagle. Jay Beagle's in my opinion he's the best fourth line center in the league. And he's great on faceoffs, he blocks shots, he kills penalties. He's the kind of guy that plays Barry Trotz hockey. And it's no surprise that he's been, I wouldn't say have a big role, but he's the guy out there in the dying minutes, especially in game 2, in
Mm-hmm.
game 3 when the games were closer. So those guys, I don't know. I don't. I agree with you in a sense. I don't think that they're going to win you championships, but I mean, you have that depth there. You know, you're not afraid to put them on and give your big boys a rest,
Hmm.
and that's huge to have. And Vegas has that too. Their fourth line's been playing pretty well as
Yeah.
well. You know, I mean, Nosek had the big and Nosek and Reeves have had pretty good, and they had pretty good games in games 1 and 2.
Hmm.
Not so much the last two, but you know I think they're gonna have. I think the home ice advantage in Vegas is gonna be big. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
come out pumped up for Game 5, like it's gonna be a Game 7.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a couple weeks ago I chirped Ryan Reeves right near the end of an episode, but I mean, he's been really awesome to watch.
But
Like,
you know what, Ryan Reeves though, it's the same thing. I mean, he's for as good as he is, and I say good in the sense of he's a professional hockey player.
yeah,
He's not a great hockey player, but damn, he's in the NHL. He's doing something
yeah,
right.
he would come out to any of our leagues and light us up.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And for a fourth line guy who's known to be a fighter and to go out and throw hits, he's got a pretty good set of wheels on him. He can, I wouldn't say he can shoot the puck great, but he gets to the right spot. You know, like
yeah.
he's been playing well. But I don't like to see the diving, like his own stick hit himself in the face, and he
Hmm.
drops like George Foreman laid him out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Well, it's almost very reminiscent of earlier on in the season. Johnny Gaudreau got essentially lost his chance at getting the lady was it Lady Bing
Lady Bing,
or
yeah,
whatever
the
when
most
he
sportsmanlike,
yeah
yeah,
when he got kicked out, and it's like I get yes it made slight contact with your chest,
yeah.
but as soon as the stick hits your chest to go up to your mouth and fall to the ice and like that's
You're making a
horseshit.
mockery of the officiating, and I was actually I was on Twitter the other night, and it was, I mean, obviously it was a big debate because there was a lot of people talking about the calls, whether they were missed calls or you know intentional missed. I think that it got to the point where you know Vegas earlier on with you know James Neal is. I'll be completely honest. I think James Neal is a scumbag when it comes to hockey players, man. He's a good player. He's got a very underrated shot. He's a good skater, and you know what? He's a very good guy to have on that Vegas team. But on the ice, he's no different than guys like Brad Marchand.
Mhm.
And a guy that's really snuck up on me, who plays a little bit of a rat, is Jonathan Marchessault. Jonathan Marchessault, if you like, I started watching these Quest for the Cup videos that the NHL puts out on YouTube every week now, and you see this guy strutting around the dressing room like he's king shit, and it's
Mhm.
like, buddy, I understand you're a good hockey player,
Did he not pull up in a Lamborghini?
right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and you know what? Everyone's got their. I mean, everyone spends their money, and that's. I mean, you're a pro. You can do whatever the hell you want. But this guy, I'm like, you'd think he'd be a bit more modest, knowing that he came in undrafted, didn't look like he was gonna have a career in hockey, and then just kind of told all the naysayers to eat shit. And he's an awesome hockey player, man. But you know what? Guys like that, they just need to settle down a little bit. You know. He's all dancing around. You should watch this. You should watch this stuff, man. He's in the dressing room, and they announce Brad Hunt comes in the healthy scratch defenseman, and they announce the lineups for every game. And he's sitting there in the corner, and while they're announcing the rest of the team, and everyone's kind of charging along, he's sitting there doing a dance like it looks like he's on like he did like 3 lines of coke or something, and he's just like out of his mind. He's just amped up. Maybe he's excited. I don't know, man, but he's a little rat out there, and he's very. And everyone talks about marvel about his skill. You know, I find Vegas. I don't mean to sound because I mean I'm very public about rooting for the Caps right now. It's my brother's favorite team. I've wanted Ovechkin to win a cup for the last 8 years since they've
Mhm.
had powerhouse teams earlier this decade. But Vegas, they gotta figure their shit out. They can't keep going around the ice diving. You embarrass the referees. You can only cry wolf so many
Mhm.
times. So when Colin Miller does get his block knocked off 8,000 times the other night, or when Reeves gets hit, or when Neal gets hit with a high stick, but he also two hands the goalie on his way by.
Yeah.
You know what? You're not gonna get those kinds of calls when you're playing the way you are. And the
Mhm.
Caps, I'll credit them. They've been playing hard. They're punishing, but they're not getting carried away with it.
Yeah.
Even Tom Wilson is kept his game in
Well,
check.
yeah, and skating away from Reeves when Reeves is going at him.
Yeah,
Like that's like to me. I mean, I would skate away from Ryan Reeves too,
I would
but
definitely.
at the
Oh man, I would skate away from Ryan Reeves
But
I'd probably tell him worse things than you said on the podcast about him and try and get away.
yeah.
I don't mind him as much. I seem to like him a bit more than you do, at least. But
Oh, I don't mind him. I thought it was funny whenever he
he's
was
better than Radko Gudas, though.
Oh yeah.
I'm always gonna keep throwing that one out there. That guy's a plug. But anyways,
Matt Cook is the devil.
Oh, yeah.
He's if I had to choose a most hated player that out of any player ever,
Yeah.
I would say Matt Cook.
Yeah, I'd say Matt Cook. And Matt Cook made a career on. He was an okay player, where I find Tom Wilson's an awesome player. Maybe it's just because he's using a good role, but I mean, another guy who could skate. He scored a beautiful goal the other night. He's not afraid to lay the body, and he's not afraid to back down. But I find that when the game did get a little chippy and got out of hand, it was guys like him and Ovechkin now would try to settle the rest of the guys down. And, hey, don't take penalties here. You know,
He's one of those guys that I feel like. Given the right team, the right kind of, even the right coaching, the right role, he could definitely be another skilled, maybe not as skilled version of Brad Marchand. Annoying as shit on the ice, but just as good. Not.
He uses his body a bit more than Marchand. Not to discredit Marchand, because he's a good player. Obviously, we know what he does and what his game's about. But I find Wilson's like a throwback to like the power forward. I think he's guys like Tom Wilson are like this is the modern day power forward.
Mm-hmm. Maybe like an Andrew Brunette style
Reeves,
player.
Oh yeah, but a much better skater than Brunette ever was, though. And I like Brunette. He's Sudbury native, man. He's actually his brother-in-law used to be one of my coaches in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, great guy. You know, I never found he was a great skater. A lot of guys in that time frame weren't though. That was a dead puck era. It wasn't high flying. Where Tom Wilson can skate, man. If you think about this, you got to keep up with Ovechkin, with Kuznetsov. You got to be able to motor out there. You're not just some plug out on the ice. If you're playing first line minutes and contributing, I mean that's a sign of a good hockey player right there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even Ryan Reeves. I would call him today's version of an enforcer. I mean, enforcers are a dying breed, and he could fight, but he could play a regular shift. I mean, maybe not a ton, but he's at least not sitting on the bench and seeing the ice for 40 seconds a game just to go out there and fight.
Yeah.
He can actually play, and I mean, they put him out there. He scored the winner against the Jets. He scored the tying goal in Game 1 against the Caps. I mean, the guy could contribute.
Yeah.
You know, I find he gets a bad rap a lot with regard to his skill. But a guy like him, I mean, I think it's all about skating. Guys like him, they can still skate, and if they can skate, you got a spot in today's NHL for sure.
So, as we kind of get into the midway point, I have yet another game.
I love games
for us to play.
I love games.
I don't really know what to call it. I was trying to line something up with, and that's the bottom line. A good old Stone Cold
another wrestling reference. I can get behind that.
But we're working on it. There'll be a game that's kind of about the bottom line. So this is about like guessing to a certain number, and if you go over, you're essentially out, and you get points.
So it's like playing blackjack. So basically like.
So what's a good reference along that?
That's a good question. You know what? I think maybe we should just go ahead and just do what we got to do.
And come up with a name
and then come up with a name afterwards. Like you're so amazing at doing. I sort of, you know what? And I'll tell us everybody out there. We do the recordings at Chris's apartment, and we just honestly, I come over, and it's like we literally just sit here and just start talking and start shooting the shit about hockey, and click the record button, and then I get home, and then I'll get a copy of it sent over to me. And I'll give it a listen or two, and it gets published online the next day usually. So this, in all likelihood, is going to get published online. I'd say Thursday. Probably get up there tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
Tomorrow, which is if you guys are listening, it's today, June 7th. And then the title comes up, and I swear to God, I laugh at the title and I text Chris, and I'm like, "How do you think of this stuff? where do you come up with this? You know what I mean? Like." That's my favorite part. Straight up. I mean, this is all fun and I love doing it, but seeing the titles afterwards, and I love when we can tie the wrestling references in because I go for wrestling references all day.
I know, right? I almost want to do a wrestling episode.
Oh my God, dude, we could probably lay out like
talk about.
Honestly, and like it wouldn't be about anything today because I couldn't tell you anything about the current product. The only thing I do know is that Fox bought the rights to SmackDown and they want to move it back to Thursday night again, which where it was like 20 years ago when they first came out with the product. I mean, whatever. But I mean, there's nothing beating the glory days. We talk about the going back to when we were growing up, and we talk about it. And this game, from what you told me, is going to involve a lot of hit or miss players from I'd say the mid '90s to the late 2000s.
Mhm.
And that's I'd say that's to me that's the time I grew up with it. Growing up with wrestling, same thing, late '90s, early 2000s were the golden years,
Mhm.
for sure.
So,
So what we got here? What
so
we
essentially,
got?
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna name a player,
Yep.
and then we are going to look up on Hockey DB. So whoever gets it quicker, and we're gonna go higher or low, like not higher or lower. Sorry, you're gonna guess the number of what the question is. So the first one, we'll do a practice round.
All right.
First one is Martin Erat. The question is, what was the highest goal total he'd had in a season among his career?
Martin Erat. I'm gonna say Martin Erat in his career had 28 goals as a high.
I'm gonna go 26.
This is almost like The Price is Right.
Yeah,
There we go. That's the name of the game. Well,
I was thinking 25 before you said 28. So we'll
okay.
rotate who goes first each
Sure.
time.
So let's do that then. So we're
Okay,
gonna go
so
Martin Erat.
I got her up on Hockey DB here. Martin Erat's highest goal total was
I think we both lose.
scratch game. We both get 0 points. 23.
23 in the 07-08 season. So we
Okay.
got that. So I think so there we go. So that one's out of the way.
0
I could have
points.
swore he was up there to in the high 20s. Even I looking at his numbers when he played in the WHL, this guy never even got past 27 goals. So I definitely missed the boat on this guy.
So if
And just sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but to add insult to injury, he got traded for Philip Forsberg.
Yeah.
Straight up.
part of the reason why I put him in here. So if you are following along and you would like to play, count your points as you go. You get a point if you're the closest between us, and let us know how many points you got.
There we go.
All right, next, Pascal Leclerc, his most wins in his season.
Oh my god. Well, that's gotta be like what, like 8? Like how many games does this guy play in a year? Like this guy was always injured. I'm gonna say Pascal Leclerc and the most wins he ever got. I'm gonna say was 30.
Oh, I'll go. Oh, I'll go
You're
first.
going. Okay, you go. Okay,
on
you
this
go.
one.
Did I slip?
Yeah,
Go,
because
okay.
you went first last time.
Okay,
so
there we go.
it'll help.
There you go.
I'm gonna say 29.
I'm gonna go 31.
31.
And if we look it up, we both shot over. It was 24.
24. Holy.
And
0
again,
points
this
again.
is in that 07-08 season. So this is you know what? And I pick on Leclerc because I remember when they made the trade, Ottawa traded Antoine Vermette to Columbus and got Leclerc back, who was injured at the time, and a second rounder. And Leclerc came back, and I thought to myself, this is the best goalie trade that they've ever made.
Mhm.
This guy is going to be the best guy for them. And it was Robin Leonard they picked with that second rounder that ended up sticking around much longer than this guy ever did.
Yeah.
You know? So who do we got next, or what's next on your list?
Next up, Dinas Zubris,
Ooh.
and most points in a season.
I know he's I know, gotta be up there. I'm gonna go with right now. I'm gonna go with 50.
50.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 52.
All right. Oh. You'll be happy to see this. There is a season that he clocked 52.
Is it the highest?
But the season before he clocked 57.
Dang it! But I get the point.
You get the point for not going over.
Should we be like it's 2 points if you get it bang on?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll call that the bullseye. Yeah.
2 point bullseye.
We'll do that. That was 06, just for anybody counting out there. That's 06 with the Washington Capitals. He was the second leading scorer behind Alex Ovechkin. He was 49 points behind Ovechkin as second leading scorer on the Washington Capitals. That's okay. Jeff Halpern, looking at Hockey DB right now, Jeff Halpern was the third leading scorer on the team with 44 points.
Wow.
Right?
All right, next player. Roman Cechmanek. Most wins in a season.
Yeah.
It's
It's
my turn to
your
go
go
first.
up. I know I'm always looking to go.
32.
No, most games or most wins?
Most wins.
Most wins in a season.
Because he
Um,
played in a couple years where Philly made deep runs in the playoffs.
I'm gonna go with 19 wins.
Yeah, I'm
is
shooting
his
really high
highest.
then.
You're shooting high, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think he's ever played that many. Holy, actually, we're both gravely mistaken, sir. Did you take a look at?
Nope.
So
Do I
Rowan
wanna know?
Chechmak, I'll announce this. Let's do that. I'll announce the score if you do the whoever does the first call doesn't get this. Check it out. Rowan Chechmanek in his first full season in the NHL only played 59 games, which is I guess is average for a starter.
Mhm.
Clocked 35 wins.
Oh, I got another point.
So there you go. And his long-lasting NHL career is 4 seasons in NHL, 3 with the Flyers, 1 with the Kings. And his Kings, he had 18 wins that year. So there you go.
All right. Next. So I went first that time. So you're up first this time.
All
so
right.
Paul Ranger, most points in a season.
Paul Ranger, most points. I'm gonna go with 30.
Most point. I'm gonna go 28,
All right.
and it's.
Oh, I'm looking at this right now too.
Did you get? Did you get?
I called what I said. I said 30.
Close.
See, I said 30. No, I got it, bud. I got the point.
You got the point.
You actually called 28 dead on, but he had one season. Again, the 07-08 season, which is 10 years ago. It's ironic. There's been a lot of milestone seasons. It looks like. Clocked in 31 points, but was an ugly minus 13 on one of the worst Tampa Bay teams we've seen in the last decade or so.
Yeah. Next up, we were just talking about him before the podcast, Mike Commodore. And
Mike Commodore.
And it's points in a season.
Oh my God! Can you put negatives for this stuff?
So I'm gonna say points in a season, 21.
22.
22?
Yeah.
All right.
Just so I can play that game. Actually, I have you beat because just by virtue of that, but not by much. 29 points.
29.
29 points with the Hurricanes in 07.
See, I would have thought it was with Calgary when they made the run.
No, but actually, you know what? When he was with Calgary, he didn't play very many games, and I'll tell you why. He was actually he originally got drafted by Jersey. He was actually a second rounder in '99 out of North Dakota. And didn't crack the Devils team. And actually, what ended up happening is he ended up going from the Devils to the Ducks. And when he went to the Ducks, he played for a guy that some people might know named Mike Babcock. And that's when Mike Babcock was kind of making a name for himself as an NHL coach. And yeah, you know what? I agree. He's one of the better coaches out there. But Mike Commodore absolutely hates Mike Babcock with a passion. Like almost as much as he hates Pierre Maguire. And he's very vocal about it. Even when the Leafs lose or anything happens, you know what? He's the first guy on Twitter just absolutely chirping him. But you know what? I'll say this. For Commodore to reach 29 points in a season, good on him, man. That's impressive. I would have thought barely 20, but you know, close to 30. That's not so bad at all.
All right.
What do we got next year? Where are we at right now? Anyways, how many guys have we gone through here?
We've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, and I'm winning 2-1.
Wow, 6 guys. Wow.
Ready?
All right. So
next, Peter Sikora.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like this guy.
And Peter Sikora, most points in a season.
Oh, geez. Most points in a season.
Oh, it's my turn to go first.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I'm trying to think back. I'm going to go into the 70s. I'm going to shoot high. 72.
80.
80?
I'm going to say Peter Sikora. Because he had some pretty productive years.
Oh
wow! That's and you know what? Those are the teams. That was the same era I was thinking of. You see that too, eh?
Yeah.
Where 81 points in the 2001 season. That's a Stanley Cup loss. Even in the playoffs, think about this. Yeah, to your Avalanche. Hey, you know what? They won the cup the year before, New Jersey, but 81 points in the regular season, 22 in the playoffs. So you guys clocked over 100 points between regular season and playoffs that year. So that
Mhm.
was right at the prime of his career. That was, it was about his mid 20s year. He was up there for sure.
Okay.
So,
Next is, if you want to look him up, Freddie Modine,
oh, I love this guy.
and it's most goals in a season.
That's a good one. So
Really
I'm looking
hard
this
too
up. It
because
is because I wonder how many. I'm gonna say he had 26 is high.
26.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot high, and I'm gonna go 31.
Wow. You actually. Here's the surprising thing to me. You actually get it. He actually had 31 goals in '06. Had 32 as a high actually in '01. So you don't
So
get the bonus
close.
for the being dead on. But those weren't even his Toronto years. Those were both of those were hit with the Lightning actually.
I had figured it was with the
Yeah.
Lightning. The
And
year he
also,
won.
and another year actually at 29 goals. So I mean, this guy had, you might as well call it 3 30-goal seasons, which isn't, too bad for this guy.
And you think about it too. That's when he was with Tampa. That's when he won the hardest shot competition.
Yep, won the
So
cup.
if he was in the All Star game, I knew he had to put up something close to 30.
Well, you gotta have a hard shot, and if you don't see the net, you don't see the ice or see power play time very much. I mean, not much you can do about that. But even in the playoffs that year, he still had 18 points, 19 points in 23 games. He's actually a better player than I thought at that point in the game. So who do you got next year? So we're what are we now? You're up. You got a 3-2 lead on me right now.
Yep. And the next player is Manny Legacy,
Ooh,
and it's most wins in a season.
most wins in a season. Oh well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I'm gonna go with 36.
36.
Yeah,
Uh,
just because of who he played for. You gotta keep that in mind.
yeah.
He had some pretty good teams.
I'm thinking now. Are you thinking Detroit or are you
Yeah,
thinking St. Louis?
to Detroit, absolutely.
I'm
I'm
gonna.
thinking of one season in particular. I'm willing to almost put bragging rights on. I'm gonna say it's the '06 season.
Okay, I'm gonna go 34. 34.
Huh. Well, 2006. You get to announce this because I went first, but you can tell everybody who won this round.
I still can't even find it.
Really,
Oh, there it is. 2006. 37.
37,
And you were at
and I had
36.
36, and I knew that, and the reason was because I knew Chris Osgood was still there. Chris Osgood in 32 games still racked up 20 wins that season.
Yeah.
So I mean that was a good year. That was that was coming back after the lockout. They had 58 wins, and got upset in the first round to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um. So
So now we're tied 3-3. And how many guys do we have
tied
left
3-3.
here?
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
6 guys left.
7, 8.
Okay, that's lots of guys. Let's get this.
I'll
this
skip
here.
some.
Let's do this here. Let's do another 3. So there's 3 points up on the board right now. Because if you look down,
Okay.
yeah, we're getting. I mean,
So
we're getting to the time now, and I just want to touch on a couple of quick things before we get off.
okay. So let's do.
Tonight.
We'll do 3. So if you want to look up, we'll do it this way. I went harder near the end.
I like that.
So
Let's just do it.
Olaf Kolzig, highest save percentage
like say regular season.
regular season.
I'm going to 915.
921.
That's what your guessing is.
Yeah.
Holy the goalie. You know what? He was one of the best. I remember watching when they made the finals 20 years ago, and they went through the series against the Buffalo Sabres. That was great hockey. I love watching that. That just brings me back. So if we're going with his highest save percentage over the course of a year, well, actually, what do we call again?
I said 921.
You know what, brother? You shot the moon. His highest was 920.
Oh no!
Literally 1 point, and it was in that 1997-98 season 20 years ago. See, it's like subconsciously we know that some of this stuff is on there. Otherwise, he had a nine. His next highest he had for that was a 919,
Yeah.
and then a 917. So I mean, he put it this way: for every 100 shots this guy got, he would stop 92 of them.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good average. You know what I mean?
All right. Player number 2
All right.
out of the 3. Brian Rolston.
Oh,
Most goals.
36.
You sound like you know this pretty.
No, I just know that he's a better goal scorer than a lot of people will give him credit for, or remember him as, especially during that dead puck era. That guy could that guy had a blistering slap shot.
shots on a shootout.
Oh my god, that guy would play point on the power play and like almost put them through the net.
So I'm gonna go 34.
Okay, so I called 36. You got 34. Imagine it's 35. We both lose.
Oh, well, I wouldn't lose.
No, you wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't. I'm looking it up right now. Well, buddy, looks like you
Did I go bang on?
you went bang on.
Yeah.
And but here's a bonus question. I'm not going to take any points away. Which team was he playing with when this happened? I'll give you the
Minnesota.
options. Oh, I didn't need to give you the options. His first year at the Wild. First year at the Wild, 0506, 34 goals, 79 points, plus 14 on a team that I'm pretty sure only had they didn't have a 500 record.
Woo. And I snuck out a lead on you.
Yeah, that's impressive. So we have one more
One
question.
more.
And I have to. This is for all the marbles right now, because this is gonna be it.
And we'll take yours.
All right.
Jason Arnott.
Oh
Or
yeah.
Arnott. However
I
you
like
want to say
Arnott.
it.
Yeah, Jason Arnott. Yeah.
Jason Arnott. Most assists in a season.
45.
52.
Jason Arnott was not much of a passer though. I found he was more of that power forward who would bring the puck in.
And he played. If I remember correctly, he had a pretty high season when he played with Dallas.
He absolutely did, and it was actually 05-06. I'm looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he tied that in 07-08 with the Preds, each season recording 44 assists. So, what did I call again? You.
I can't even remember. I overshot.
I think I overshot. I think I called 45. I know I did. You said 52. I said 45. And I have two 44s.
Here we go.
So I think, Chris, you bested me this week, buddy. But as we're winding down here, so we got a couple minutes left here.
Yep.
So just a couple things. What are your thoughts now?
Hold on, I'm gonna Ric Flair really quick.
Woo! There we go. I'm just waiting for you to start strutting down the hallway here.
And then fall on my face.
Oh yeah. He was the best trademark for that. We're gonna definitely have one of these episodes. I swear we're definitely going to.
All right, what's going on?
The New York Islanders have finally got rid
of Garth
Snow. And to a lesser extent, Doug Waite. And I don't really, Dougie Waite,
not the
good
problem.
guy, but he wasn't really the problem. But now they got Lou Lamoriello, and I mean, at this point in the game, you got to think that that's got to be some kind of a move. Whether or not that's for the Islanders to tear it down and move on, or to get Tavares on board and go for it.
I think it's the preparation move for what is going to come, and I don't think. Just by, you know what, Steven Stamkos did the exact same thing, but going into this, they were a contender whenever Stamkos was looking to resign. The Islanders are not in the same boat.
No, they're nowhere near it, and that's the thing is that's as many times as Tavares has tried to state his commitment to the team and to the franchise, and it's a good thing that the team they're starting to they're playing some games out of Nassau Coliseum again. With plans to build a new arena in Nassau County in the next few years. I don't think the team is happy playing in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. I don't think the players like that very much. I know the fans, it's not really a conducive NHL arena.
No.
There's areas of the arena you can't even see the ice.
Yeah.
Sitting at the front of a barrier, you look down and you see the blue line. And that's bad. That's pretty... But the arena wasn't built for that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So, I'd like to think of Tavares as going back, but I think that at this point... that whether that signing signifies an overhaul going on in Long Island, or if it's more guys to try and load up, where does Tavares go? Where do you call Tavares?
That's what we'll end off on.
That's what we're gonna end with right now. Quick, and you know what? I think by this time next week the finals will be will be either done or close to done. Eventually, we're going to be getting into the summer hockey talk, and
Mhm.
then there's going to be some free agency talk. Where do you go with Tavares?
Uh, Montreal.
No, I was gonna to without sounding like it. I want to go Montreal as well. However, if there's another team who can fit him in there, we're Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see John Tavares and Eric Carlson in night jerseys by October, man. Like that's just a scary thought considering how great they've been.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that's episode 9. We'll come up with a name at the end of
Well,
right
whenever,
now.
yeah, I guess we'll figure out a name, but you guys will hear about it tomorrow.
All right. Have a good
Later.
night.